Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So we are on number 35 for the Auric programming journey. And this has to do with prosperity. And you could think of prosperity as the process in which we are able to engage to thrive. So prosperity might need financial prosperity, but it also could, there's like a spiritual kind of prosperity, a relationship kind of prosperity, you know, friendship or a partner, like the quality of like the ability to thrive in any of these situations. Abundance would be the end result, right? But prosperity is the process or the potential of a process that we have to be able to reach our goals, right? And so I think the thing is to remember that it's a process and you're improving your reactions to different stimuli. If you look at the aspects of stress, the first aspect of stress is your reaction based on some factor in the environment. You know, from the point of view of intellect, when it's not of what it thinks it is, it considers that chaotic. But usually it's the mind that's chaotic and not in alignment or aware of things going on in the environment, right? So our first reaction to any sort of stimuli, right, is potentially a way for us to benefit or a way for us to stress out. We talk as if sometimes that intuition is the healing process that we try to bring in. And really, it's not that we try to bring it in, is we try to realign ourselves with it. The idea of intellect seeing something as repetition and having a predetermined outcome is actually kind of like it's lunacy. You look at the environment, even if you look at nature, you look at anything, it's constantly moving. And there might be some cycles in it, but it's always potentials for something different happening. And yes, there are cycles, but within that, who knows what's going to happen? But the mind, the intellect is always trying to predict the future and tries to micromanage everything to be the way it thinks it should be over and over again, right? This is the opposite of prosperity, right? This usually causes a kind of self-destruction or destruction of whatever project that you're trying to do, right? And so a project, a goal, your workplace, even though there might be parameters, it's always a process that has to have us be able to adjust, adapt, and interact with an ever changing set of parameters, right? So this is tied to that ability to thrive. It is associated with prosperity. So with this, in your kit is a blend called Prosperity. You're beginning to inhale. Your awareness is on the left side of the body, left side of the face and neck, the left shoulder, your left ribs and hip, down the outer leg to the left outer ankle, whole left side. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness to the front side, the face and throat, the chest, the abdomen, front of the pelvis, down the fronts of the legs to the tops of your feet. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. The right side of your body, the whole right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, right rib and hip, down the leg to the right outer ankle. And then the back side of the body, the whole back side. Back of the head and neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. And then just pause and be still. Just pause and be still. Now, that's the standard approach. That is something that could be daily. It could be used with other processes that you might be doing. You could also do it in a stack, with other Auric programs. But now we're going to do the advanced approach. And the advanced approach is something that you only do once or twice a week so that your physiology, your emotions, and mind can make a shift, and that your energy body can make a shift and integrate. Right? So you're using the same oil. Your awareness is on the left side of the body. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder, your left ribs and hip, down the whole outer leg to the left outer ankle. You're moving your awareness to the back side of the body, the whole back side. Back of your head and neck, your whole back and hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. The right side of the body, the whole right side. Right side of the face and neck, your right shoulder, your right ribs and hip, down the outer leg to the right outer ankle. the front side of your body, your face and throat, chest, abdomen, front of the pelvis, down the fronts of your legs to the tops of your feet. Okay, and then just pause and be still. Just pause and let go. Now, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your knees. Your awareness is on your knees. Can be the whole knee or just the back of the knee. The ankles. Your awareness is on your ankles. And then the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. And then just pause and be still. Just pause and be still. Here we're going to do the 4 quadrants again. Your awareness is on the left side of your body, left side of your face and neck, your left shoulder and ribs, your left hip, all the way down to the left outer ankle. Front side of the body, the face and throat, chest, abdomen, down the fronts of your legs to the tops of your feet. Your awareness is on the front side of the body, down the whole front side. You're doing nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the right side of your body, right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder and ribs, your right hip, all the way down to the right outer ankle. Your awareness is on the back side of the body, the whole back side, back of the head and neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. So it's feeling. And then just pause and let go. You're just pausing and letting go. You're just letting go. Let's do that last little piece. Your awareness is on the brain. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the brain. the spine, the brain and spine, both at the same time. The brain and the soles of the feet. As you inhale, move your awareness up above the ankles. As you exhale, down into the earth. Inhale up, exhale down. Just let go. Mm. Just be still. Okay, let's share experiences, ask questions. You can unmute yourself, type in. Let's keep it to the Auric program until we get those questions out of the way, and then we'll jump over to normal Q&A. But let's see how you guys did.
And I am going to make it so you guys can type into the regular share box as well. Zoom has updated where if you want to send a private message, you just type the little plus button where it says new chat and then pick Plant Prana Oils or Apothecary Geek. But again, you can post, but it will go to everybody will see it if you go to the everybody main chat. Okay. So on that note, again, like Greg said, art program specific questions at this time, and I'll make it so you can unmute yourself. Go ahead, Paulina.
Hey, hey.
Maybe you didn't mean to have your hand raised. Go ahead, Denise.
Hey, hey.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Sam. Hi, everyone. Could you go in a little bit of depth on prosperity? I missed the first part of this.
Oh, the thing that I talked about in the beginning?
Yes, please.
Um, okay.
Well, you know, just whatever you feel that you can bring
Yeah,
forward would help everybody.
it's like I was saying before, it's like has to do with the process or the movement towards being able to thrive. Could be financial, it could be relationship, could be, just socially or with a goal. It doesn't necessarily mean financial, but it's the process that has to do with thriving, where abundance is the end result. Prosperity is the process or the potential of the process to move forward.
Excellent. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And then go ahead, Lara.
Hey, hey.
Hi, that was really quite lovely.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was very lovely. I have a question that's just
Mhm.
about me, but it may be someone else also. I've had a break where I missed several of these Tuesday night sessions,
Mhm.
and I'm going to come back into them. Is it better to kind of start over and rebuild in order, or?
No, not at all. You can jump right to the ones that you've missed, or if there's one that like really kind of rocked your world, you can go back and work that. They're just in order because they're like if you look at it, it's an alphabetical order. So it's not really based on a therapeutic step by step. So they're all meant to kind of be a thing that they stand on their own.
Got it.
Yeah.
Any that you would suggest, you know,
For you,
for me to
um,
begin with?
Yeah, let's look. Hold on.
I can just start.
No,
I'm
let me go. Let me go through and look. I mean, I like the idea of you guys doing all 49. So I'd touch on the ones that you haven't done. But let me look here. I would do allergies for you.
good.
I do the endocrine system. I do the immune system. I do the respiratory system. I do the sinuses. And I do the zodiac influences, the very last one.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. That last one, the zodiac one, it's very relaxing. It's like crazy relaxing.
Well, good. I'll get on that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was gonna say Robert posted the numbers if it's easy for you or if that helps in the chat.
Yeah.
So.
I was watching that. I'm getting ready to take a picture of that. Thank you, Robert.
And go
Appreciate
ahead.
it.
Yeah. And then go ahead, Robert.
Hee hee.
Hey, give me a second here. So I have a real subtle sort of question.
Hmm.
And I do understand from your description the difference between prosperity being the process and abundance being the result.
Hmm.
In a situation, I have a client who is very early in the process of bringing in something new and big for her life. Would prosperity be an oil to use to bring in the ideas, or would it be more of development of intuition, or both?
What's like, what do you know her track record? Like, does she have
Uh,
a hard time with this or not have a hard time with it?
um, let's see, in the last 2 years, I would say she's extremely good at manifesting anything that she can articulate.
Okay.
So, so I look at this saying it's just the thing to tune her energy to bring this in. She's run a business, she's a doctor as well as doing a certain form of energy medicine. But this is going to be something new for her. And the definition every time I talk to her grows and gets bigger and also gets more definition. But I'm thinking more of she hasn't asked for this, but it's more of this.
Okay.
Which would you do to bring it in? Prosperity, intuition, you know.
So this is what I would say about that. You know, if you look at the idea of this is going to be long-winded, so just
That's fine.
okay. So the idea being, like, if you're looking at the creative process, or if you're looking at healing, or if you're looking at even spiritual growth, there's this play between essence and form, right? It's just always essence and form. You could call it yin and yang, you could call it all kinds of things, but essence and form. And in this, nothing is ever completely essence and nothing is ever completely form. It's this
Right.
movement back and forth. And so if you look at the idea, for example, of vagal tone, a lot of times when we're talking about vagal tone being the part associated with part of the nervous system associated with like rest and repair and the healing process and learning and just restoring the body and so it's it's um it's a movement, it's a process, it's an essence. But if you look at like how we talk about it from the point of view of a system or a piece of anatomy. So you're saying, okay, I have this ball of essence. How do I get it and make it interact into the form better? Right? And so the idea of that is you're trying to change the anatomy or the form of whatever it is to be able to handle that process or to be able to be affected by that process, right? And then if you flip it, when you look at it from the point of view of the form itself, what you're trying to do is you're trying to enhance the the processes. Like you want the process to have more light or be more penetrating or so it's almost like when you're treating the form, you really kind of look to processes. And when you're trying to treat the processes or increase vagal tone, you look at the form, right? Because you're trying to get this like play or interaction. And so if you look at the idea of all the Auric programs, and not just the Auric program, but like the Sandalphon technique and Auric waves and all those things that were associated with that, they're all tied to um, the form trying to improve like the processes coming in. And so when you're identifying it with the form, we strive to have better like rest and repair mode, right? Or better vagal tone on whatever it is. But there's also a flip side of it is the very first thing that causes even the stress response is a response. You're still looking at the sympathetic part of the nervous system and how it's reacting to like an ever-changing world, right? Like things are always changing. The mind would like it to be the same way over and over again. But really, the nature of the world is things are always changing.
Okay.
But the mind perceives it as a thing to kind of make itself feel better. But really, there's stuff going on all the time. And it's not that, oh, we're trying to bring something in. We're trying to let go of something to better align with how the flow of nature really is. And so if you look at the idea of the Auric programs, they're just different kinds of stress responses. Like they're just about just different responses to, I don't want to say that it's chaos. It's just that there's this movement or this flow of something, and it's really about like tuning in these responses. So the thing that I would say is I would work both sides of the coin. I would work I would work prosperity. I would also, do some form of like abundance. And you're kind of getting both sides of that part of the nervous system that's reacting and or not reacting to the stimuli of the environment, the inner world, different situations, whatever it might be. And so, what you could have them do is um, do like the prosperity blend first. And then after that, I'd have them do the materialization breath for the goal, specifically for the goal. And for that person, Rose looks like it's the best. And then after that, I would go through and I would do something like abundance, like that blend abundance, that one that we had just not too long ago. If that one isn't available, you could use that blend balance. And the idea being that, like again, when we think of things from the point of view of this is what I want or this is what I need, or, you know, intellect, or that first phase that's tied to the sympathetic nervous system, is constantly trying to micromanage the environment and bend things to the way that it thinks it should be. So just in that act, it's already coming out of alignment of the creative flow. It's in a way, it's a kind of psychic attack. It's usually not at a person, but it could be at an event, it could be a way of thinking, it could be, you know, the potential for success, or if the idea is different than what the person thinks it should be. It's a form of like attacking the flow to make things the way it thinks it should be, if that makes sense. And so for anybody, that's always the issue. And think about how many times you're dealing with something where you're trying to heal something, and really what you're trying to do, you don't even really get to do like the healing process, like, oh, this is what needs to happen. You keep having to get the person like closer to being able to do the process, because there's so much pushback from the person because they already have a preconceived idea of what's going to happen or what they're willing to do and not willing to do. But usually what that is they're nurturing some sort of inner wound. There's just some wound there that, we all
Right.
got them. We all got them. It's not like some people have them, some people don't. We all got them. Right. And so it's like, how can we move this person away from that wound, is really what it's always about. And it could be talking about assemblage point or prosperity or sleep or, respiratory stuff. It's always kind of the same. You're always kind of dealing with the same issue. And so, I would do the sympathetic nervous system, I would do the goal, and I would do the thing that comes after, the vagal tone
The
that would be
emotion.
associated. Because like here you have somebody who's been smart and successful, but they're breaking out of what they normally do.
Yes.
And as soon as they get uncomfortable, they're going to fall back on. We all do this, by the way. It's not like
Mhm.
I'm picking on this person. I do it. I catch myself doing it all the time.
Right.
Is you fall back onto the things you do well, or
The
I've done this
habits.
well, so it means I'm doing this well, even though I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And whenever you have somebody breaking out of that when they've been successful, another way of saying they've been successful and they're trying something new, like if you look at it from a different viewpoint, they're not used to being vulnerable.
That was
You know
part
what
of
I
our
mean?
that was part of our
Yeah.
conversation. So in her most recent session, there was a call she needed to make that was a follow-up to someone who had an idea that she might work within.
Mhm.
She might fit within it. And my statement to her about making that call, she feels it's important to get things rolling. It might not fit, but it's the start. It's
Mhm.
motion. And my statement to her was, before you pick up the phone to call, put yourself in the white light and put the situation in the white light. Put your new business in the white light so that you're not going based on what you feel it should go. You're bringing
Right.
light to the situation so it
Right.
becomes what it should and not what you want it to or need it to or think it should be.
Right.
Uh,
Beautiful.
and
That was a
so
great conversation.
yeah, it was a really amazing conversation. The part about vulnerability, she's described to me today. I would, before the last year, I would have labeled her an introvert.
Uh-huh.
But what she described today is that she knows she needs to be more involved with other people to co-create what she's seeing she's supposed to be doing. Not necessarily partnering, but maybe, but also drawing on resources of other people, which she didn't really do before.
Hmm.
And she knows it's about the people and the relationships and building something. And my statement to her there was about, yes, with all these people, you have to be vulnerable about yourself so they are just as vulnerable back to you. So it's a play between the two of you that you're equals and no one's in
Yeah,
charge.
I would agree. The thing that I would also like to throw in that mix, but like beautiful conversation, by the way. You had a great conversation with her. But the more successful that a person has been, the less tolerant they are of themselves making mistakes. And I would love to say that I'm super smart and I figure things out, but mistakes is my teacher's name. Like I make mistakes and then I refine myself. And so that vulnerability, especially when you're breaking into something new, is like you said, you're partnering, you have to take in other people's opinion, and you're not going to do it well right off the bat. You know,
Right.
even if you do it good, doesn't mean you couldn't still do it better. Like and
Yes.
like
And
stepping into it with that attitude. And I mean, you've heard my stories about how I just thought, you step into something, you just any mistake is like, oh God, how could I must not be smart or I must be doing the wrong thing or whatever it was. And you know, that's not the case. It is, that ability to have those mistakes happen and to learn from them and have them not spin you out. And for this person to be successful in whatever field they were doing, they already have that. But sometimes when you have it at one and then you step into another situation, sometimes it's
yes.
I mean, let's face it, it kind of hurts a little bit, or it sucks, or whatever you want to say. So
It-
at some point, somebody has a threshold where you're like, okay, I'm going back to my other way of doing things, or I'm going to lean on, because a threshold simply means you've reached something where it's going to change. You're changing your behavior based on that stimuli, and like in a could be most times it's a negative response, but it can be positive. Like, okay, you know what? I'm going to step up my game. I'm going to try harder. I'm going to study harder. Whatever it is, I'm going to step up my game. That would still be a shift from the threshold, but usually we tend to go to the thing that we were good at before, or we doubled down and trying to micromanage how the environment even presents itself to us. I used to remember like the triangles. I used to do one that like uh, manipulating the environment for an inner need. It's basically just intellect, but like I'm going to tweak these things for it to be the way that I want it to be, instead of going the flow and making some sort of shift internally. And so, anytime somebody has a new endeavor, it's like that. But when you're younger or it's something new and there's a kind of a hunger there. But when you take somebody who's stepping out of a field and they're successful and they're stepping into something else, that part's a little harder.
Yeah, I challenged her on a few things today, and we talked about just this whole concept and what she's stepping into and how she's described what she wants to bring to form.
Hmm.
You can tell she's ready and she knows that it won't happen instantly and that there will be mistakes, and will all these people that she's bringing together have the integrity to be open about any mistake and correct their mistakes. And so she's not saying people have to be perfect. She's saying that they have to come back and make it right and own up to what they've done if they do something wrong. And that's sort of the
Has she
foundation.
ever met people?
Yes, yes. And they have been a challenge for her to this point.
Yeah,
And
I'd say
so this
there's her
is,
blind spot right there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's been some interesting changes.
I mean, it doesn't mean that somebody can't, but I mean, that's just like a more refined micromanagement.
Right,
And
right.
it might be that she partners with people and has to let them go and replace them and let them go and replace them. And it might be a series of people. It might be at the end, it's just,
Yeah,
that she even does it on her own. But, people are great in a situation until they're not.
yes,
It's just like how I was talking about the transient thing. You have a really great connection with somebody, you start doing some project, you do a project, you're like, oh, this person's amazing. This is my person. 30 days later, they're making a different set of decisions and they're not as great as they used to be. Like it's
yes.
like the like that I already hear like afraid of failure.
Yeah. I, I know it's not going to be easy for her, but I also she's very comfortable coming back and having another session and saying, here's what's going on. And then I just sit and listen and come back to her with what I'm guided to say. And she goes, oh, that's what we're working through. Okay, now what do we do? And, and it's a very easy shift for her, even through some very difficult things. I've been extremely surprised, and I'll say I haven't had to work hard in about a year in those sessions. It's just listening to her words and helping her hear them in a different way. So
I would say like the idea of like social processing would probably be very, very good for that person.
okay,
Just like processing how they socially interact.
yes, okay.
Because
Well,
you know how like we talk about vagal tone all the time, but I'd say I'd flip that and that tone of the sympathetic part of the nerves, when there's lack of tone, the tendency is like aggression, manipulation, trying to bend things to their way. And even her statement of what she said, she's in a stress state. She's stress thinking. She's already gone to that place where she's in protection mode.
okay. So
Yeah.
going back to what you said earlier, prosperity, then
Yeah.
materialization, Brett on the
And
goal with Rose,
so
and then
social
abundance comes.
processing, you could do it just with like you could just do it with like have her inhale poplar, have her do that pattern of basic and then forehead and then the joints of the arms and the legs. But
Okay,
have her do body awareness, like observe the situation and observe, here it sounds like a potential of how she's going to interact with people. Just the idea of like, okay, I'm going to be partnering with people. I'm going to be, co-creating with people, whatever that is, and then feel it in the body and then do that process.
Mm,
Usually I
that's-
would do it with aloes, but
that sounds so good.
yeah, it's I mean, even this idea with the Auric programs, like here we're doing prosperity, you could, say it was a really strong prosperity issue and she was just having a hard time breaking out of it. Like, here we're working the aura and how it somaticizes, like that positive um, issue. But like if you were really needing to problem solve, like somebody really had this just deep-seated issue, you could even use prosperity with that same pattern to go through and unwind that. And part of what that does is like if you look at that stress response, it could be any form of it. Even the idea of like abandonment or failure. I mean, we think about it with all the details, but really it's just a reaction and a perception. That's all it is. Like the idea of abandonment, for our body, we feel like if we don't stay in this group or if we don't fill in this group, it literally feels like, death or dying or that it's just the end of us. It feels like it's the end of something. But that's the we're all operating from this instinctual place when it comes to that, and it's a perception, it's not reality, it's just a perception, but it's a perception and a reaction almost at the same time.
It's
and
like a
and
loop.
yeah, it will generate the loop. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, if it's already been there, then it makes it more magnified. But um, yeah. And so that idea of like taking anything a little deeper to really shift the perception or shift that reaction. I mean, really, we're kind of doing it in general in a way that's effective, but like soft. You know what I mean? Like when I say soft, like comfortable. Like it doesn't like make you like really shift. And even if it does a little bit, it's not like drilling down and going down at something really core. You're doing a bunch of little movements, and so over a period of time you're able to produce a result that usually is much more integrated. But if you were really having to cast out the demons, so to speak,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
you would
It's
do
not
that pattern with the Auric program itself, and but it's not always comfortable. So that's why I don't really talk about it very much.
okay. Yeah, I th- I think this will be good for her and that it will lead her to where wants to go and needs to go without her having to consciously figure out what it is she's saying and not saying, and it's it'll just bring a change that she's really asking for.
Mhm.
What she what she wants to bring in needs those changes to happen.
Right. And making those changes is not going to be an intellectual process at all.
No,
It's like
not at
how,
all.
like, I don't know if you listened to that little video that was for the class next weekend, but it's about intellect and the desk, you
I
know.
haven't listened yet. No.
Okay, so it's about like, okay, all the things that happen in your life is in the on a desktop, and you get overwhelmed by the things that you do. Intellect just rearranges it and goes, I've put it in new folders, I've color coded it. I feel
I do that
relaxed.
weekly.
And then
Every
anxiety,
week.
and because it happens again.
Yes.
Intuition is the part that goes, let's clear this desk and just starts resolving things. You know
Right.
what I mean? And you know, it's about being able when you're doing something new to step away from those intellectual processes and to be able to embrace that creative flow. You know, we're all going to get pulled back into intellect. You know, like I say for myself, I always go, no judgment in it, but like, how long did I stay in it? Can I pop out of it? You know, it's going to happen, but can I pop myself out of it? And, you know, sometimes I don't even catch it right off the bat, but when I catch it, it's like, okay, gotta let this go. Gotta get back into alignment with the flow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're
I
so
like those answers.
good.
And then go ahead, Paulina.
Hey.
You're muted. Let's get you unmuted. Try again. There we go.
Hi, Greg.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I want to ask you two questions.
Mhm.
I was when I was making the protocol, I start to feel that my mouth, palate, and tongue tasted a very deep flavor of anise.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. And you're using the prosperity blend?
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
Let me look what's in it. I don't remember anything like that, but let's see.
Uh,
No, I mean, the closest thing probably that I would say that might have a little bit of that in there is kava. You know, it's in the like kind of pepper family, but I mean, that's not really anise, but other than that, I don't know how you got that. Yeah. Oh well, maybe it's just some fond memory.
okay, it's okay. Okay, and the other question is that I'm very interested about the prosperity protocols, and if you want to flow in life and in different areas, and you do everything, but things still don't flow in the aspects of your life. It could be karmic, it could be generational, or something else. This protocol could help you improve.
It could, but like, are we talking about just like all areas of your life, or just in particular areas of your life?
You might need to
It's
turn your
not for
video.
me. It's for something that maybe it has like the parents, they still like they have like issues about money. They were very rich and then they took the money, and I think now they have karmic issues and things like that. So they are not flowing
Now I
like
don't
they
know what we're
want.
talking. Say that again. What are we talking about?
Yes, I know some persons that they were
Mhm.
very rich and they were very powerful in business, and now they are not flowing. I don't know what happened to them. So I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, like I would need more information to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to say it. Miguel, le robaron la herencia. Les robaron la herencia. ¿Cómo se dice en inglés? They steal the inheritance, and I think I don't know if this is karmatic or they are like something is happening in the field that they are not flowing.
Well, I mean, are they going to do therapy, or is just this like a hypothetical, or
Yes, they are going to do therapy with me, so I don't know what to recommend them.
so I would say, did I understand like they stole their inheritance, or
Yes, they had a lot of money, and father of that person, the grandparent of that person stole all the money to the family of the family. Mhm.
I don't know that I'm understanding. Like the person we're talking about stole the money, or somebody stole the money from them?
Yes, he didn't steal the money. The grandparents stole the money of all the other persons in the
Oh,
family.
yeah. Mm. And you're wanting to know what to do about that.
Yes, I don't know if it's karmic or is I need to work generational healing or abundance or what to do with them.
But they're coming to you for trying to resolve that situation.
Yes.
I don't know that it's that easy or that straightforward. I would say the thing that I would work is associated with various aspects of Venus. It has more to do with a kind of consciousness than it does anything else. Um, we haven't presented the class for Venus. That's not happening until October. But I would say until then, um, the healing spirit of Venus would be a thing to do. Yeah.
So you think if I take that course, I can help these persons to flow?
You would have to guide them through those aspects, or they would need to do the class themselves. I mean, it's not just like a symptom. Like it is more than that, and it would depend on their nervous system, how they're reacting. Like if they're super emotional about this, then you're going to have to deal with that as well. It's like you would have to start putting together like a treatment plan of like how to go through and treat some of those different aspects. But just the idea of what you're talking about, um, that situation, that's what that's about.
I
That
will write you and let you know exactly what happened so I can explain
what
to you
happened
in
doesn't
this.
matter. Like that's
Okay,
the thing.
okay,
Like
okay,
it's about like how they process and how they think. Like
okay,
the all those details, everything. Like if that's what
okay.
they're fixated on, they need to do a bunch of emotional work because they're constantly going to be having a stress response and they're not going to process or be able to move past anything. And so that's where it would need to start. But eventually, the consciousness associated with Venus is actually what the
I
issue is. It's not about the event, though. It's not about the thing. It's not about the event. It's always about how the person thinks and processes and interacts with these different situations. It's the how, like it's the process.
I don't thi- I don't think they are mad or things like that. It goes through, but
It doesn't have to be
all
about
the
mad. It doesn't have to be about mad.
yeah, I
Has to
know,
do
no.
with being emotional. There's a big difference.
It's the abundance change for them. So that's why for me it's the issue.
Maybe right, because I don't think you're understanding what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, I
Maybe
understand what you're
yeah.
trying to tell me. It's not the issue, it's what it's going in their body, right?
Just feel free to write us. That's
Maybe write us.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And then we had one more chat in share in the chat, but if you want to ask a question for the regular Q&A, please go ahead and raise your hand now and we'll start getting to those as well. Someone shared very soothing, loved the oil blend.
Oh, good.
And no one's hands raised yet, so I wanted to share just kind of my experience with the prosperity oil in case it's helpful in any way for people. I usually yawn a ton and just feel myself falling asleep. And this time it was like my dyslexic brain kicked in and my brain was like just almost like a resistance. And so I think one of the things you shared with me is, yeah, there's maybe a program or something in there. And so, we all have our different experiences with these, but I kind of wanted to give that share there. And then next week, guys, we are on number 36, and that is protection. So protection oil as well. So have that handy and ready, and love for you guys to join us for that. And we'll go ahead and start our regular Q&A now. And Barbara, go ahead and get us started.
Hey.
Hey there. It's actually a art programming question.
No.
During the other questions, I decided I would do one of the ones I had missed, which was the neurotransmitters one.
Oh, yeah.
And it may have been because I was also hearing the conversation, and so I wasn't as deep into it as usual. But I felt very little move throughout the whole piece, unlike the one we started with tonight, which I was yawning through the whole thing. But when I got to the very last segment, the brain, and spine,
Uh-huh.
suddenly the energy just took off. And I don't know if that's because of what I was working, or I settled into a deeper connection with it.
That last little piece, like Samantha kind of said the same thing, that last little piece. And if you look at what that's doing is, you're concretizing that into the whole energy body, physical body. But like part of how we are processing and reacting to the things in the environment or situations, a lot of that is the spine. It's a brain and spine, but a lot of it's the spine. And so,
I really felt it in the spine. And I
yeah,
didn't know if it's because it was neurotransmitters or if it's more about that pattern or.
it's the spine is associated with like kind of your early reaction to different stimuli in the environment. And so, in different situations, we would like to have different outcome, but we start off with the same reaction, right? The same perception, the same reaction. And so when you go through and you work that last piece of the brain, spine, brain soles of the feet, you're changing or you're shifting your reaction and your perception so that like the next time there's like a potentially different way of like interacting, so you have a greater potential of being able to shift something. And it's like how we talk about like some of the deeper releases of like emotion and things is comes out of the spine, and it is really tied to like these reactions or these perceptions and responses. And we might have the thing in the field, but the really concretizing part is that brain spine combo,
Yeah,
and
it's so
it
powerful.
can shift you out of a state that, like here we're talking about, like you could say the Auric programs are 49 different stress responses, you know, and what you're really doing is you're calming down or shifting like a kind of response that is like in a loop and just keeps doing the same thing over and over again, even though we want to do something different, and so a lot of times you'll feel it, or maybe not, but it's having the deeper impact when you really do the concretizing thing with that brain spine combo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that pattern useful to work on its own, like we did
Oh yeah.
when we learned the three brains, and just work
Yeah.
that pattern as it
Yeah.
is?
You could do it with that, like even the ideas of like different vagal tones. You could do it with like anything that's like kind of vagal tone oriented. Um, sometimes for me, even like working the various like aspects of the planets. Like if I just have a quick thing, I'll just run through and do that. Brain spine, brain soles of the feet. I even do that with some of the single oils where like something like aloes or tuberose or ginger lily, um, kind of brain spine and then brain soles of the feet. Um, it it shifts things in a way. mm, you're almost like bypassing some of the like instinctive or emotional responses, and you're starting to kind of shift like their reactivity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if that even made sense, but
Yeah, you did.
okay.
In this moment, anyway.
Yeah. I hear you.
Um,
I know.
I remember when this is a different question, um, took a training, or it's called Six Lamps, but it was on visions. And as I've said, I don't have a lot of visual experience, but
Mhm.
it seems to me one of the things I was taught was to look at sort of the periphery of the field.
Yeah, sure.
And I've
Yeah.
been noticing lately that there's really often, this spattering of like blue stars, predominantly on the right. And is there something significant about it being on the right and not all over, or on the left? Or it's a left brain curiosity question.
hmm sometimes when you like are in meditation or a deep state, you kind of will see, or there's the potential of seeing like a night sky with stars kind of speckled in the sky.
Mhm.
And it's like, you have this level of expansion and there's light. And then even beyond the light of what the mind can perceive, you might even see like just the night sky with like little sprinkles, right?
Mhm.
So that's up, but sometimes we're taking essence and we're moving down into the form even deeper. And even there, it looks like the night sky. When you go deeper and deeper into the form, the form being a kind of darkness with like these little speckles of light.
Mm.
And so that you see it kind of in that way, that it was in the left side or the right side of your field. It most likely was associated with the left side of the brain. So it's probably more about light, like trying to penetrate deeper into some sort of form, be it the body, below your feet, conditioning, an old opinion, something like some light is penetrating in, that the light is blue. That's kind of tells me like, soul energy or, something of that nature. The, you're going deeper into something, but hard to say what that is,
Okay.
But I would say anytime you go deeper into the form, you're waking up. You're waking up like different aspects of yourself, or you're embracing other kinds of consciousness that's within you that maybe is not um, like in your conscious mind.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more question, if I may.
Yeah, sure, of course.
There's a series of practices that are energy movements of the body. And one of the teachers talked about that if you move clockwise, one direction is more clearing and one direction is more stabilizing. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
And
Like
which is which?
how are you moving the energy? Like, are you moving it through the body? Or are you moving it around the body? Or
um, through the body and ultimately up the central channel.
you're
I-
spinning it around the central channel? Or like, how are you moving it up and down the channel?
Um, maybe it's not up there, but yes, it's the one that I'm particularly thinking about. It's you're rotating the pelvis to move the energy.
Okay.
But I don't remember which direction is energizing and which direction is cleansing.
So like moving it from this shoulder to the front, how we do the Auric programming, like the
Mhm.
standard
Yes,
approach,
yes.
that would be uh, more energizing. But what I would say is it's energizing because it's moving energy down. And
Okay,
then the other way is more clearing, but it's because it's moving energy up.
okay.
It's like if I'm standing on above somebody and I'm moving energy into the crown, like I would move my hand clockwise and that drives it down into the body. And then if I wanted to remove or diminish, I would move it counterclockwise and that would move it up. And so when you're going into a state of expansion, what's happening is whether you're aware of it or not, the energy is moving counterclockwise and it shoots out the top of your head. And then when you're coming down and you're concretizing it, you're having expansion in the body and you're increasing like soul energy in the body. It's coming down in a clockwise manner, right? So it's like even like when you chant Om, the energy is moving up, but it's not just shooting up, it's going like that. And then when you chant Om, it's coming down like that.
Hmm.
So you could do it with your pelvis, you could do it with intention. I find sometimes having a physical movement, at least for a while, might be good. Like the movement of the pelvis that you guys are doing. But you can also do visualization, but you just have to really be able to concentrate. Like it's like you'd have to be able to concentrate and have that expansion, but not lose the concentration. You'd have to stay in a concentrated state and then at some point let it go to have the expansion. But for a little while, you might have to have do like the pelvis, or sometimes they'll like do circles, or sometimes you see pictures of like a Buddha, or like a kind of Buddha, like laying on their one side, or a yogi, and they're laying on one side of their body and they're kind of got their head up like this, or their heads up. It's
Mhm.
like a form of that, depending on which side does different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't have that circulating energy sense at the crown, but the energy does feel different to me. And is that possibly whether it's going up or coming in, that it feels different?
It could be. I mean, are you doing other practices with that, or
No, sometimes it's just
just by itself?
well, I mean, might be in a class, but
Mhm.
sometimes it feels what I call sort of tingly, and sometimes it feels burning. And I don't know if that
Yeah, that's probably Kundalini moving. Like,
either one or
could be. Yeah. The y- you know the pace and the attention, the one pointedness will dictate how much Kundalini is moving. You know how like when we were talking about like karma, and it's like it's not about a thing, it's about like how you think, right? It's not about like the issue. It's about like how you're processing it, right? It's the same thing with Kundalini. Like it's like when you have your attention on it, it's like how you're able to process or flow with your awareness on whatever you're moving. And the more that we think about it from an intellectual point of view, the more that it's um, very light movement, like it's a very like superficial movement. And the tendency is you're having to balance like the higher and lower. The thing that's regulating to the Kundalini is spiritual connection, or the movement of essence. So you're having to be focused but aware at the same time. There has to be a flow of the intuitive mind to be able to make that rise, um, without instability or an issue. And the more that it's just more intellect, the tendency is for there to be a bigger imbalance, and the lower center gets more activated, overactivated. And we all go through this. Like this is one of the difficulties with Kundalini practices, or moving the energy. Buddhists don't usually say Kundalini. Like if you say that to them, they turn that off. But it's still the same mechanics. And so, like when you're feeling like tingling, that's probably movement, but it's a little bit more of the intuitive mind, like is involved. If you're
intuitive.
feeling heat or burning, you stepped a little bit more into intellect,
Okay.
and there starts to be like an imbalance between the upper and the lower.
Okay. Thank you very
Does
much.
that make sense?
It does. And it's not that I'm doing a Kundalini practice per se. It's just, this is just what I
Right.
have observed as
Yeah. I
energy.
used to tease my Buddhist friends that, because as soon as I would say the word Kundalini, they go, oh, we don't do that. And it's like, but the practice is they're doing it. They just don't call it that. And so I used to tease them and go, it's Buddhalini. You're practicing Buddhalini.
Love it. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
they didn't think it was that funny, but
I bet not.
yeah. Yeah.
And then go ahead, Letty.
Hey, Letty. How are you?
Let's
Hi,
get
Greg. Hi, Sam. How y'all doing?
Good, good.
Good. Been pretty busy, but things are kind of calming down already.
Yeah,
Um,
you have a new addition to the family, yeah?
yes, yeah. So another boy. My daughter had another boy.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I went back over there again this past weekend and came back and just to kind of help out a little bit again. But yeah, I'm kind of like good luck because she's far away. I can't help her from over here, but I think she'll do great. She's handled the first one okay, so we'll see. But Greg, I was gonna ask, I had mentioned to Sam, like about, I don't know if it's probably been about 2 weeks. Like I was having some issues with my left foot,
Mhm.
and it's kind of more like it's in my toes, and then like the toes, and then like right like at the what can I don't know, it's like when I step, you know what I mean? So it's like the top of my foot type of thing.
So,
I
so what's happening? You have issues on the top of your foot?
Well, not the top, but like the toes, like underneath and the bottom when I step, you know what I mean?
Like on
Like
the
it's just
pad? Like on the
yes. Now I know, you know, like you're not supposed to wear high heels and like where your toes are kind of like crunched in, because then you get that like where you're pinching a nerve or something. But
Mhm.
like I really don't wear like shoes that are like where my feet are kind of like where my toes are kind of like cramped in together. It's more like open toe shoes, and I have like a band over it, and like the band is kind of like elasticy. I mean, it's a high heel, but but it's just really happening on my left foot, which is kind of strange.
Okay, so you're having pain on top of your toes or like almost where the toes are at and the pad underneath?
Yes.
And has there been any puffiness or swelling or anything like that in the foot?
Not that I noticed, no. I mean, it looked normal to me.
And you're walking on it normal?
Yes. Now I'd been trying to like to run a little, not much, but I was trying to run a little bit where I was running with a dog up, like we have like this little bridge that you can cross over like the highway, but I was just kind of going up the ramp, not nearly like just, like, and we're kind of like sprinting up,
Mhm.
but I haven't, I don't know, I haven't been doing it lately. And then I did do some stairs at work, like just running up the stairs, coming back down. Like once everybody's gone, like I would change into like some workout clothes and just kind of go up and down the stairs. But then I was telling Sam that my knees were started bothering me. So I'm like, I'm falling apart. And my knees are
How,
bothering me
how,
like
how's your low back?
my low back has been bothering me like I feel
Yeah.
like this weekend when I slept in
Do
and
you
I
have any numbness on the side of your thigh?
no, I don't feel any numbness on the side of my thigh.
No numbness, no loss of sensation, no tingling, nothing on the side of your thigh.
No, like when
You
I
have,
wake up, it's all lower back, and then more like if anything like hips. But like I will get up and I try to apply like some marjoram, and then I'll try to like some birch complex. It's like whatever
where are you applying that at?
lower back
Okay.
and then
So you
hips.
are treating the low back. Okay.
Hmm.
So I would keep with the back. I would go down the leg and especially the calf, shin, and foot. Um, I mean, the thing to do is to treat it and see if it resolves. I mean, it could be a little bit of a nerve that's degenerating in the low back.
Mm-hmm.
A bigger indicator would be numbness in the thigh, but you don't seem to have the numbness, so that's good. But the issue is probably more in your low back than it is in your foot. The foot,
Okay.
you still treat the foot, but
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like it's more about unwinding that low back and that hip. And you get like uncomfortable or fidgety when you're sitting in a chair. Like it's hard for you to kind of like
It mainly happens when I'm laying down.
the issue with your foot or your back.
My back, my lower back. Yeah, when I'm like laying down and get up in the morning, it's kind of just sometimes like when I get up, sometimes it's a little painful and I just kind of have to.
It's always in the same spot,
Yeah, it's mainly like lower back and then both hip areas.
like high hip or in the hip socket.
Like in the hip socket.
Mm. I would start off. You're probably going to have to treat this like with like a layered approach over a period of time. And so the very first thing that I would do is that anti-sclerotic blend. I would put that on your low back, your hips, like down the at least the one leg, but I'd put it on both of the inner thighs. Like you're wanting to hit the adductors. And it looks to me like you've had like a misalignment. And
Mhm.
sometimes the issue is like when you might be able to like straighten it up at sometimes, but when you lay down, like the body will kind of, because it doesn't have gravity and everything, it will kind of revert back to like an old pattern. And
Mhm.
so you're like, you know, you might be walking during the day and there's a slight thing, but when you lay down, I think it's going like this, or whatever version of it. Like one hip goes way up and
Mhm.
it's throwing off some sort of imbalance. A lot of times when you have like low back issues and there might be a little bit of a hip issue, you always look at the hip socket and you are feeling like some tension there. But I think that's still because it's both sides. It's also coming from an imbalance in the pelvis when you're walking. Whenever we've had like a misalignment for a period of time, one of the areas that you really feel it in the thigh is in the adductors. And so the adductor will remember that pattern even when everything else has been kind of resolved. And so you take pressure off of it or something, it'll throw it off. Or sometimes what happens is, because that tension is in the inner thigh, instead of walking like this, it'll move one of the legs out a little bit farther. And so you have this like weird kind of postural distortion, but
Mhm.
it's like the body's trying to compensate for the tension and the misalignment. So it will like start to make these like little weird adjustments. And so Um, I'd start with that. And then after that, for a while, I'd probably go to nerve help. Do it like in an ointment, both of them in an ointment form.
Mhm.
And then the nerve help will help to break down that pattern, but it's going to be important to like, even though you're not really having pain there, you still kind of need to be able to shift the pelvis somewhat. And so, I mean, I'd go from like the inner knee up pretty high on the inner thigh on both sides and rub that ointment on. And then, do that for a week or two with the anti-sclerotic. And then after that, rotate to the nerve help.
Mhm.
And then from there, I'd say let's like evaluate and see, but you'll probably need to go to probably some sort of antispasmodic, but it might even be vagal tone blend itself, you know.
Okay.
The the idea is also maybe after you did those two, another one could be that blend unwind.
Mhm.
The single oils that you could use, like after you've done the antisclerotic and the nerve health, is then spikenard, valerian, vetiver, cypriol, things of that nature, myrrh, because what you're looking at is we all have these areas in our body, but it's basically a kind of muscle imbalance. And so anytime you look at muscle imbalance, postural distortion, misalignment, that's always tied to a stress response of some sort. That it's either causing a stress response or the body has been in such a stress state that it starts to cause muscle imbalances and postural distortion. So it kind of is the chicken or the egg. Kind of doesn't matter. It's already there. But sometimes it happens because of an injury or a misalignment, or sometimes the body is in such a stress state that it causes the misalignment. And so either way, you just got to start treating it. And so that idea of balancing out the muscles is those oils help to resolve a muscle imbalance or postural distortion, but they do it because it's calming to the stress responses in the body and the accumulated stress that's happened over a period of time. Because it's not necessarily like an event or something, it's more just the body's just got into a stress state and just has a hard time getting out of it. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know the nerve help I do have, but the anti-sclerotic, that's one I don't have. So
Oh, I could tell you what's in it. You could do some version of it. Let's see here. Mhm.
sorry, my dog's making a lot of noise in the background.
I have a big list, so give me a sec here.
Okay.
So it's bay laurel, wintergreen, petitgreen, eucalyptus citrodora, peppermint, juniper. Like even if you just took I mean, you probably have all of those oils, but even if you took like the wintergreen and the bay laurel and the eucalyptus citrodora, that would start getting you in the ballpark, like and mix them together and then rub them on wherever.
What was after wintergreen?
Bay laurel, and then eucalyptus citrodora.
Okay. Peppermint, juniper, and I missed one of them.
Petitgreen.
Oh, petitgreen, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I
Any,
definitely.
any of the petitgrins will work for that one. I just use like normal standard petitgreen.
Mhm.
Any of them would work.
And what would be the racial on them, like
I mean, I just keep it simple. Just keep it even.
even?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's little ways of tweaking it, but like it's not super complicated, but just make it even. Yeah. That way you can just kind of do it on the fly, put it in your hand, rub it together, or throw a little bit in a bottle, see if it works. But that it's going to help somewhat immediately, but over a period of time, it will affect some shift and change in the body. And like a lot of times what you're dealing with there is not just, oh, there's a spasm or there's tension or there's splinting around a joint or something, but you're dealing with very chronic muscle contraction or a group of muscle contractions. And so the combination, you know, is because this is also for like sclerosis, like antisclerotic means like a hardening of the tissue. And so, there's different kinds of hardenings of tissue, but one way is that the muscle tenses up and locks up and then just doesn't let go. And so at first it might be to like protect an area in the body, like the spine or a hip, but then over a period of time, it just never lets it go. Like I have a section that on my ribs, like we've probably reduced it by 80% or 90%. And it's from when I broke my back. I twisted really hard. And so I have like tears in the muscle. And I have just this big like area that is just like a big, like hardened, you know, uh, that tissue is hardened because, for one, there was an injury, but it was trying to protect my spine when I crashed. And so, you know, over the years, I was addressing all these other issues, and as I feel better, I'm like, well, there's this section on my back that's like that. It's not even the low back; it's like off to the side, and whenever I get physical therapy or some sort of therapy, there, I was just like, oh my God, what happened here? And you know. I've tried all kinds of things, and I always would get some relief, but it didn't ever change or go away. And I had all kinds of therapy for it. I had all kinds of fascial work. Nothing was changing it, and I kind of gave up on it, because I'd tried for so long, so many years. And then we start putting different ointments on it over a period of time, and it would feel better, but nothing really changed. But
Mm.
we got on to a kick of putting the antisclerotic because I was like, it's hardened tissue. Like if that's what it is, because like an antisclerotic, like you would use it for, I mean, there's these conditions where the tissue, it's not even a cramp, it just like hardens up. And so, you know, you would use this blend for that, but you'd also use it for reducing inflammation, and you could also use it for arthritis, and you could also use it for really chronic like spasms or splinting in the body. And so we started doing that, and I mean within, I don't know, what did you say, like 6 weeks maybe? I mean it's like 90% gone. Like even like I see a therapist from time to time, that tortures me with his elbow, and he's like, man, like that. He goes, that area. He goes, I don't know what you're doing, but it's changing like massively. And I've been chipping away at it for 30 years, but this last like 6 weeks, I'm like resolving it, you know. And so a lot of times these areas in our body, they could be from an injury, but a lot of times they're accumulated over a period of time. And um, they're like little micro stresses or micro traumas, and the body's had to adjust and adapt and move around and shift. And, at some point, you just got to start unwinding it. And, like when I put the ointment on, it feels good. But like I notice over a period of time, after like a week or two, I'm like, I'm not feeling like I need it at the end of the day. Where before I was like, oh, I need it. It's 5 o'clock. I could really use it. But I kept doing it and just kept doing it and kept doing it. And it's changing the tissue of the body in that area. And so when you look at things like the low back, you look at the low back, but it's still like you said, it's the hips, it's the hamstrings, it's the adductors, it can be, the outer part of the leg, the tibial band. Um, you have to treat usually the legs as well. And
Okay.
like when you're looking at like hamstrings, you also have to treat the calves as well. It's this whole like set of chain of events.
Okay. So,
So
and that's gonna help as well, like my knees.
yeah, your knees are probably because of the misalignment.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it deep in the knee or is it on the side or is it like one on the inside, one on the outside?
I just mainly feel it when I'm going up and down the stairs.
But is it deep in the knee or on one side or on the inside?
I feel like deep in the knee, like in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. So deep in the middle is um above your kneecap. Like if this is your kneecap and
Mm-hmm.
this is the outside of your leg, this is the inside of your leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go up higher, and there's like that little triangle muscle that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to dig your fingers in that with that ointment and like really rub that. Like kind of really get in there and move it. Because
Okay.
what's happening is that that's developing a trigger point, and why you feel it in the knees going up and down stairs is that is so contracted that it's putting pressure on your ACL. And what you're feeling is tension in your ACL as you're going up and down the stairs. And so it makes that ligament more prone to an injury, a strain, or a tear when that muscle is out of balance like that. So that's what you're feeling when you're going up and down the stairs. But again,
Mm-hmm.
it's coming from the hip thing,
Yeah.
but still treat like that's why I like treating the inner thigh. You know, that's not quite the adductor, but it's still the medial part of the quadricep, and so you're still treating your inner thigh there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Craig. Thank you. And I know I have I want to say I'm pretty 100% sure I do have all of those oils, so I'll definitely make me some of that.
Yeah, with all the stuff you've done over the years, you can make that one up yourself pretty quick, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Lost track of how many bottles of oils I have now. No point in counting now.
So
Yeah.
I just want to jump on that just real quick because that was really practical, but also because it could be like a muscle misalignment or something.
Mhm.
Could working the ARC program for the muscular system?
Yeah, the muscular, I mean, she brings up a good point, like the whole muscular system that we did, super good for that. And then also like vagal tone. I don't think we've put out the muscular vagal tone, but a big part of muscular vagal tone is tarragon. Just like inhaling it, topical. Tarragon's in a couple of the pain blends. But part of what it does is it helps the muscle to relax as well. And so, yeah, we could experiment with that as well.
Okay.
It's
Thank you
in the
so much.
Nerve Hub.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So we're going to jump over to the Star Prayer petitions, and thanks for hanging out tonight. And next week, I think, is protection. Yeah. Number 36, protection.